What's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop, and today I want to share with y'all a very tactical game that I played against K-Lux. He's a strong 22-11 and everything, and I wound up playing this Wing Gambit, man. I'm about to show you all the power of the Wing Gambit. All right, so without further ado, let's actually get started. All right, so I played as white, he played as black. I play E4. He played E6, playing the French. I go knight f3, d5, e5, c5, and then b4. This is the start of the Wing Gambit. The whole point of it is for white to actually gain control of the center and also with fast development to attack the king. He doesn't take, he goes on knight c6. So I go b capture c5, bishop capture c5, and d4. As you see, I'm controlling the center with the d4 and e5, and then of course next I would like to play on c3 with a nice pawn formation and a nice grip in the center. Bishop b7, I go c3. Maintaining that d4 pawn, make it even stronger with this pawn formation. Strong, right? Queen c7, bishop d3, just developing. Bishop d7, a4, f6, and I go queen e2 because obviously I gotta defend this pawn on e5 and everything. So he goes f captures e5, I go d captures e5. So the e5 pawn is still defended by the queen and the knight, as y'all can see. He actually castles queenside, and in this type of position, I don't think it was too smart or whatever. But honestly, I don't think I ever lost a game when somebody castled queenside in this type of position. Never. But this guy, he actually played it pretty well though, kind of. But you'll see what I mean. But I play knight at a3. The whole point of knight a3 is to hit the knight b5 square, harassing the king and everything. And then of course also to create weaknesses on the queenside king. Because if he goes a6, I can move my knight back and then potentially sacrifice my light square bishop once my rook comes to b1, rook to b1. So that's the whole point of it. So my opponent, obviously he understands it, so he actually took that knight off. But it does. It creates dark square weaknesses in his position or whatever, which is why I wound up taking bishop captures a3. But let's actually go back real quick because after knight a3, there was a move that he could have actually did, which was knight d4. I thought this was a pretty interesting move to play. Obviously, if I take on the knight with the pawn, he'll have that queen c3 check and also hitting my rook. And you would think black will be okay, but not really. So, because at first, I don't know, y'all. Like, I was looking outside, maybe black has an advantage, but when it comes down to it, he really doesn't. So if I take with the knight, which will be a lot better, you want to take with the knight. I'm gonna show you why. If I take with the knight, queen captures c3 check, and if I go queen d2, then queen captures a1. But now, as you see, he's attacking my knight right on d4, but I have knight a to c2 defending my knight on d4, and his king is open. So potentially, once I castle, I could bring my rook on the c file and start an attack. So I kind of have some compensation for that rook. So black is not totally out of the loop. If he decides to take the pawn on a4, I'll just castle, and like obviously you want to go king b8 because you don't want to be in front of a rook once I get my rook out. So that was kind of like a prophylactic move that black would do. And after bishop b2 and rook c8, then that's when I have stuff like rook a1. And the thing is, the black is kind of forced to take on rook capture c2, knight capture c2, and after queen b3, I have knight d4. The whole point is if for instance, y'all, if he decides to go, I don't know, maybe knight a6 or whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. Rook a1. All right, so let's say he actually no, I'm sorry, y'all. So after rook a1, his queen is actually trapped. I'm sorry. the queen is actually trapped. So it's nowhere he can really go. He has no squares. Even a knight is guarding that square, and even queen c6, this knight on d4 is guarding that square, which is why black is forced to go rook capture c2. The whole point is, if he thinks I'm gonna take his queen, he gonna take my queen and also hitting my light square bishop and my dark square bishop as well, and then black will be okay. But in this case, we'll just go knight d captures c2, and after I don't know, like queen b3, then I have knight d4. And white is actually okay. And the reason why white is actually okay is because this knight's still not developed and this rook still not in the game. And I actually have a lot more pieces closest to the king than he has to mine. Because as you can see, my king is safe as hell. Like, there's no way he's getting to my king anytime soon. So, like, my position is actually very great and everything. So, white is actually good. But bishop captures a3, bishop captures a3. My opponent goes d4. I decide to attack the dark square by going bishop d6. After queen a5, I castle, which is what I did. I castled. And my opponent, he goes bishop e8. He didn't take the pawn at all. He didn't take the pawn. But the thing is, you don't want to be too greedy in a position like this. For instance, let's say, I don't know, let's say D captures C3. Actually, let's see what the engine says after that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Rook B1, and then if he, I don't know, goes, I don't know, queen knight E7, I get this move Rook B5, and the queen is actually kind of trapped pretty much. If he decides to, I don't know, if he decides to go queen a6, I have rook c5 move, and then if he decides to go queen b6, I do win this knight on e7. But I wonder if I could still do moves like rook b1 and see what, yeah, see, so his queen would be trapped, and yeah, and I'll take the queen. But I think he still would be trapped even after I take his well, nah, see, that's the thing. See, and that's why, yeah, so he'll be trying to exchange the queen or whatever, which is why, instead of taking, see, this is what the engines say, but knowing me logically, I would personally just go rook b1. This would be the move. Just trap his queen and everything. So that's just me. But yeah, yo, so you can see how dangerous it is if you take that point, and even if you take it with the queen, let's go back. Um, Even if you do take with the queen, that's still very risky doing that, because after rook fc1, if he goes back to queen a5 and everything, then you may get something like rook ab1, which is pretty dangerous. Like, you got two rooks on the same files and everything. With a dark square bishop right here and a light square bishop, we're ready to, like, to sack. Like, it's dangerous. But anyway, after castle king side, bishop e8 is there. I decided to go c captures d4. The whole point of c captures d4 wasn't just to support this pawn on e5, but also I wanted to open up the c file because potentially I could go rook after c1. My opponent goes knight g to e7. Instead of rook f to c1, which was actually the best move, but I decided to go rook fb1. My opponent goes knight d5, and I go rook b5. Now, as I look at this, I felt like the best move probably would have been queen b2 in this position, because it's not like the king can come here. And if he decides to go b6 and everything, I do have the rook f c1. And then if he tries to get out of this pin or whatever, I'll just pin with the bishop. So it just becomes very this becomes very deadly. Very deadly. And it's not like the king can move because his bishop on d6 is cutting his area and everything, so he's not going to be able to get out of this at all. So it's pretty dangerous. All right, so but yeah, so after knight g to e7, rook f to b1, knight d5, and then rook b5. Alright. My opponent goes queen c3, you know, hitting my undefended rook. So I decide to double up my rook on a to b1, and as you can see, I'm hitting the b7 square, right? And y'all probably want now. My opponent does play b6, so you're probably wondering like, yo, he could have just won something on knight f4. So let's look at that. If he plays knight f4, I have queen e4, and if he decides to like, obviously, if he takes queen catches d3, I'll just take his knight on f4. White is still great. Now, if it goes the other way by going knight catches d3, then this becomes very, very dangerous because of rook catches b7. And if knight d to b4, I have rook c7 check. And if king b8, then I have rook captures c6. As you can see, the queen can take, like for instance, if the queen takes. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, he's in check. Oh, my bad. He's in check. So yeah. So as you see, he's in check. So the queen will actually be lost. So he will lose his queen. So that's the reason. So this is the reason why b6, why he played b6 and everything. The best move in this position would be rook c5, because not only am I hitting the queen, but I'm also want to bring the bishop on a6 with a check, which is crazy. Actually, I can't really say I'm hitting the knight on c6 because the bishop on e8 is defending this knight, you know. But the whole point of rook c5 is to bring this rook over, control the c5, but also to bring this bishop on a6, which becomes very strong, you know. But that's what the engine says. But I'm not an engine. I didn't do that. The move that I played was actually rook captures d5, and it's crazy that when I play this rook captures d5 move, that's when the computer starts seeing the creativeness or whatever. But like I said, I'm not no engine. I'm not playing like one. But yeah, this is what I play. This is my move. I play rook captures d5. The engine wanted me to go on c5. I go rook captures d5. And as I analyze it, it seems like this was the right move. After e catches d5, I go bishop a6 check. He goes king d7, and I go knight g5. You know, another reason why for knight g5 is for queen g4 check, checkmate, which is what I'm trying to threat, and he goes knight catches on d4. This is where he goes knight catches g4, knight catches d4, and I go queen g4 check, and then king c6. And after king c6, the engine was saying that I should have just went knight e6. This is what the engine told me. The engine told me to go knight e6. I don't really like this move at all. This is not the type of, because what he was saying was he was saying, I think the engine was pretty much telling me, you know, he could just go queen c2 or something like that, and I'll move my rook over. I didn't really get the thought of the computer or the engine with that. I was a little confused about this knight e6, but this is the actual #1 move that the computer was telling me to do. I didn't do that move at all. The move that I actually, matter of fact, I want y'all to figure out the move that I want y'all to really think. I'll give y'all 5 seconds to figure out the move that I did. The best move. At least my best move. Like, I want to give y'all 5 seconds to figure it out. Give y'all 5 seconds to think about it. If y'all need to pause the video, pause the video. Alright guys, so if y'all figure this out, queen f4, this is the move that I played. Y'all probably thinking knight e2. He can't play knight e2 because his bishop on a6 is defending that square. So knight e2 is not going to work. The whole point of queen f4 is I'm threatening rook ac1 and everything, which is the threat as well. You know, so I go queen f4, and my opponent decides to go bishop g6, you know, hitting my rook. But I wound up going rook c1. He defends with knight c2, and then y'all, I go knight e6. This is when I go knight e6. And again, it's not like the rook can go f8 because I just win a rook off. and everything. And this is like winning. This is winning for what you call winning for white. So after knight e6, my opponent goes bishop d3, you know, trying to get my light square bishop out the way. But then y'all, I did something. I go knight d4 check, and obviously y'all, the queen can't take because queen captures on d4, and the knight can't take back because the rook on c1 is pinning this knight, right? So that pretty much would have been the only move that he could do. But my opponent did another move which caused him the whole game. After king d7, um, he goes king d7 to get out of the pin, and then I go queen f7 checkmate. So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please like, please share, please comment. Let me know what you think of this game, and also y'all don't forget to subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.